Hi, this is Dr. Toni Alvarado, your host for the Harmonize Your Life podcast. I am back in our motherhood series. This is the month of May, and we are doing a celebration of motherhood this month. And I have a new mommy that I wanted to interview on today, who I think you will just be delighted to hear from. Nafeesha Frost-Bailey is a loving wife and mother that has thrived in a family-centered focus. She is also a motivated wellness professional, health and physical educator, strength conditioning coach, offering 8+ years in teaching and sports leadership. The love of wellness and fitness developed early in her life through high school sport and collegiate sports. She is an outgoing leader seeking to promote health and wellness in everyone she encounters. She also demonstrates advanced knowledge in kinesiology, wellness, recreational therapy, and physical education. She was Teacher of the Year, owner of the Health Dealer and Health Enthusiast. The Health Dealer brand focuses on providing wellness solutions that allows people to find balance that promote the highest version of self. Welcome, Nafeesha.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'll give you a little, I want to give you all just a little fun fact about Nafeesha, and that is that I have known her since she was a teenager, and I have watched her grow up in our church. Bishop Alvarado and I had the pleasure of counseling, premarital counseling, doing premarital counseling with she and her wonderful husband, Jawan. And we actually they flew us all the way to the Dominican Republic to be a part of their wedding on the beach. It was just beautiful to be a part of their coming together, and then be a part of her baby shower last year. And so I've known her pretty much all of her life and have just watched her blossom into this beautiful woman, professional, and now mommy. And so, Nafeesha, I just thought it would be just wonderful to have you on our podcast this month.
I am excited to be here. And like I told you before, I was like, oh, I'm so excited. And this is right up my alley. Self-care, all of the above. So, yes, I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Well, Nafeesha, let's get into our conversation about self care. I sent you
Okay.
some things that I wanted us to talk about on today, and so I read in your bio all the wonderful things that you are doing as a health professional, or wellness professional, health
Mm-hmm.
and physical educator, and I know you are a school teacher and you are a
Mm-hmm.
fitness. You teach physical education
Mm-hmm.
in Richmond County schools.
Mm-hmm. I do. Richmond
Okay.
County.
What
Mm-hmm.
grade? What grades do you teach?
K through fifth. So I get all the, well, pre-K through fifth, actually. I get all the students, elementary school students.
Wow, wow, wow. So talk to us about, why did you go into that profession? What led you into that profession?
Well, actually, it was um, well something my mom kind of encouraged me to do. She encouraged me. I got a full scholarship to Albany State
Mm-hmm.
University basketball scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
and my initial plan was to be a physical therapist, and I know I had to take all the body sciences, so I had to choose between um, health and physical education or biology. So I started with biology, and then that path didn't lead me to take all the body sciences that I would need to get into physical therapy school. And the health and phys ed did, along with some other prereqs like chemistry and physics. So and then she said it would be good that I get my certification. So, if anything happens, that is something I have in my back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going that route, and yeah, and I end up really enjoying it. I struggled with it initially,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not something I want to do my entire life. But as I've grown over really the last year and a half, because I've been praying about it and trying different things about what my purpose is,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand that now. I understand it's one of the avenues I can deal health or encourage promote a healthy lifestyle in building that foundation in young kids. And I do different things with different people of different ages. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just one of the avenues or the pathways that God has placed me in that area to be able to infuse those important foundations into those children. So that's what kind of
Wow.
led me where I am now. Yeah.
And now I'm not surprised that your mom, who happens to be a PE, which happens to be a coach
Yeah,
herself.
she's basketball.
Yes, and
Mhm.
she is a championship coach. And we know Coach
Mhm.
Frost, Coach Shantae
Mhm.
Frost, has led many girls basketball teams to state championships here in Georgia.
Mhm.
And so,
Mhm.
and you and your sisters, all three of your
Mhm.
sisters, all three of you, play basketball,
Mhm.
women's basketball. Started out as girls in high school. Did you all play in elementary school too?
Yes, we started out when we were about 6, 7 years old.
Oh,
So we've
wow.
really been playing. Yeah, we've really been playing our whole lives, like literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow,
Yep.
wow. So with that being said, I'm not surprised at all that you would go down the path that your mom has gone down in terms of the physical education piece. And so that it's just like mother like daughter, right?
Yeah,
And
for the most part.
especially in this, what a wonderful tribute to your mother with this being mother. The My May series is dedicated to motherhood, and so what a wonderful way of giving tribute to your mom, other than you following in her footsteps, as it relates to this whole physical education and being a part of the educational system for our children in Georgia. And you know how important that is now, because many of our kids are not physically active.
No, they're not. They're not.
And that's one of the sad things. That's very sad. And so
It is.
how do you beyond the classroom, what are some of the things that you are sharing with your students and maybe even their parents in why their physical health is important?
Yeah, well, I'll start by well, my mom was her major was biology and chemistry, so she's teaching she was teaching biology and she's teaching economic science
Mm-hmm.
now. She's not that's not necessarily phys ed, but we share the love for science. Both of us are really sciencey
Okay.
people.
Mm-hmm.
So but I was connecting the dots. I will say that has been because I got teacher of the year. People thought it was peculiar that a physical education teacher gets teacher of the year, because usually that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I've taken those things, those scientific, that love for science, and I teach it to my students. They know a large portion of the different muscle groups, the different
Mm-hmm.
bones. So that has led me to take it up another notch. And like I always tell my kids, I do try to make it fun, but it is a moving classroom. So the point is for us to learn, first and foremost, for us to build character through cooperation, through leadership, through different communication, different things like that, and then for us to be able to move our bodies and learn the importance of exercising. And like I said, I try to make it fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I give real life examples. A lot of the kids have people in their families who don't exercise, who don't move, who don't eat as healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and they see a difference in they see a difference in people who do eat healthy and do move their bodies, and
Mm-hmm.
then those individuals who don't. So I try to always make sure that one, they know that it is very, very important in order for them to accomplish or be anything that they want to be, whether it's a mathematician, whether it's a
Mm-hmm.
doctor, whether it's a scientist. They have to make sure they're putting the proper things in their body, they're moving like
Mm-hmm.
they should in order
Mm-hmm.
to be the best self that they can, so that
Mm-hmm.
they can accomplish those things. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of go from that point of view to make sure they understand, no, it's not just a playtime thing. Yes, it can be fun, but also, again, we're here to learn, we're here to build character, and we're here to learn how to move our body and set foundations that can last you a lifetime to help you to succeed and to do and accomplish anything you set your mind to.
Wow. So, what one of the things that in our conversation today, I wanted
Mhm.
to ask you about not only the work that you're doing in the school system, but you also have your own outside of your work as a teacher with the
Yes.
students. You're also, first of all, you've embodied this because I watch you. I follow you on social media, and I'm watching you as you're working out with the baby and lifting the
Yeah.
baby like he's a 10-pound weight.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, what age were you when you got married? Tell our audience what age you were when you got married and what age you were when you had your baby.
So when with Juan and I got married, I was 28 years old, and then I had Ali when I was 30.
Okay.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
2 year difference.
So, a lot of women that are listening to our podcast today, particularly in this motherhood series, some of them are maybe getting close to the age of 30. And you know how we like to say, were you ever worried about your body clock? Were you ever worried about that, as they say?
That was well, not necessarily worried, but it did. I started thinking about it more. It started coming to more to the forefront of my mind. Initially, I wasn't concerned about it, but as I continued to learn and have conversations with women who were older than me, women who are my age, and the struggles that they may be facing, yeah, it started to I started to think about it more. And we started to
Okay.
have me and Juwan started to have those conversations. So yeah,
What were your concerns?
I wanted to. My biggest concern was I wanted to make sure that I work with young kids, and I know that it takes a lot of energy, a lot of intention, and a lot of detail, and you have to be consistent. You have to stay with it. You even when you don't feel like, and that is exhausting. And what I didn't want was to put myself in a position, if I didn't have to put myself in a position where I didn't have the amount of energy, or I didn't have the amount of patience that it would take to really, really, really give my child or children, because we want more kids too. That was another thing. It's like, okay, it's different if we're just one and done, then okay, but we want more kids. So, and we needed some time in between as well. So we had to kind of calculate and put those years together. But yeah, I just wanted to have enough energy to run around, to race, to be young enough when they get into sports, and when they get into, even if it's something else that we will have an active lifestyle even if they're not into sports. But I just want to be able to move with them and have the energy, the patience, and enthusiasm to be present with them in the moment.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So your thing was about the energy level, and because it does take a lot of energy, and I'm not a young mother, but even at my age, and having young adults, children or young adults, because I don't have babies anymore, but it still takes a lot of energy, and I want to be have energy for my grandchildren, right? So I want to be able to play with my grandchildren and sit in the floor with them and all of that. And
Yep.
so I work out every day, 5 days a week, and I walk and run and do yoga and different things
Yep.
to take care of myself, because it does require energy to raise children. And I remember when I was your age, let me see, at 30, how old are you now?
31.
31. See, I hadn't even had my first child until I was 34. So I'm not a young mother, but I understand what it means to have energy and what it takes to raise children. And it does require energy. Let me just ask you this. So now that you're married
Uh-huh.
and you have Ali, how old is
Uh-huh.
Ali now?
He's 18 months. Yes.
18
One and a half.
months.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, what have you learned as a new mom? How have you
Ooh.
integrated being a wife and a mother into your self care?
Well, um, so first I had to make sure that and all of it's been a process. I didn't learn this right off the bat. It took taking, because I'm still learning.
Mm-hmm.
But what I know is that from the jump, I have to plan and be intentional about
Mm-hmm.
everything. It's no more just, even with just being married. The difference between being single and married is you have to consider somebody else now. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have a baby. It's it's times 2 or times 10. I have to plan and be intentional about everything. So that means for me, writing out a schedule for myself, for my family, what that looks like for the week. I'd say usually I do it on Sundays. I plan out a schedule for the week, and then I'm intentional about filling in my me time, my self-care time. So that may look like time to work out, time to meal prep, time to meditate, time to hang out with friends, time to go to the spa. So whatever that looks like for me, it'll be working out pretty consistently throughout the week, and then the meals will be consistently throughout the week also. But one week I may go to the spa, the next week I may choose to hang out with a girlfriend, or the next week I may plan a trip to go out of town. But I have to plan it. I have to be intentional about it, because if not, then I'll put myself lower on the totem pole, and then that builds sort of a resentment, which is
not sort of, yes.
it builds a resentment, and it's because, I want to be frustrated at everybody else, but it's really because I did not take the time. I didn't take my happiness into my own hands. So planning is super, super important for me, because if not, then I'll do it tomorrow. Well, I'll do it next week. Well, no, don't worry about it. I'll just get it next time, and that next time never happens. And then I get to a place where I am, I'm a ticking time bomb, and it gets really bad if I don't take the time to care for myself. So I have to plan it, and then I let Ali's not old enough yet, but I let Juwan know, hey, this is the plan for the week. On Friday at 4:00, I have an appointment to go get a massage, so we make sure Ali is taken care of. I have to have everything planned out, because if not, then it won't happen. It won't happen.
Right.
And I have to let him know what my intention is as well, so that we're on the same page. Ali is taken care of, whatever that looks like for that time period, and then I can comfortably, without feeling mom guilt, move and do those things that fill my cup.
And let's talk about that. So first of all, I'm hearing planning, I'm hearing intentional, and of course this is not the first time my listeners have heard that, because if they follow my podcast from the very beginning, you've heard the word intentional, you've heard planning, putting yourself on your schedule, because most of us women, we are the ones who keep the schedule for our families. We keep the schedule and let our husbands know what's going on, and the children and all of that. I talk about my Google Calendar and the colors and all of that, and how I realized one day everybody had a color on the calendar but me. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm a part of this family too. And so so that intentionality and planning, and the old adage, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right?
Yeah, that's
right.
That's right.
So but having a little baby, Ali, and of course when you add more to it, so things don't always go as we plan.
Nope,
so what happens when Ali has a temperature or something is going on? He's not feeling well. He's extra fussy or whatever, or an unplanned event comes up in your day with your husband or with your career. So what do you do? How do you shift? Talk to us about what have you had to do when those things happen? Because they do. Of course, we would love for our days and our weeks to go like we plan, but sometimes they don't.
Correct. They are correct. Like a lot of times they don't. But what I especially with the little baby, Lord. So
because they don't sleep when we want them to sleep.
No, they don't. They don't. So what I've done is, and I wrote it here in my notes. If say for instance Ali has a temperature, or I have to, cater to him at that particular time and it's unplanned, I have to sacrifice even more sleep. One of the things I have to do is sacrifice even more sleep to get the time to myself. So usually new moms, the struggle is sleep deprivation. I don't have enough time. I'm always tired. I don't have enough energy. And that was my reasoning for a good while, but I realized that, okay, something's going to have to give. So if that means the next morning I had planned to get up at 5:30 in the morning to work out, and I know that I have to take Ali to daycare today for whatever reason, or do something else that interrupts the plan, I may have to get up at 4:30 in order to get it in, or I cancel my plans for the day, but I make sure I go ahead and schedule in another time, replace that plan with another plan to make sure
Right.
that I'm getting what I need for myself. Because I always, want to make sure I'm taking care of my child if there's a need. However, there's
Yeah.
there's a need a lot of times that comes, it
Yeah.
happens often, so
Yes.
I can't just cancel. So when I do have to cancel on myself, I make sure I reschedule myself,
Right.
pretty much almost the same time, reschedule myself, so to make sure that, okay, so today fell through, I didn't have enough time, this took way longer, this doctor appointment took way longer than I expected it to. That's okay, I've already planned to get this in on Saturday, because I couldn't get it in on Tuesday. I worked it out. Me and Joanna talk about it, and then we keep it moving from there.
Right.
And
Because
that's really.
and if you don't, Nafeesha, what I'm hearing is flexibility. That's what I'm hearing.
Mhm.
I'm hearing
Mhm.
flexibility, and trust me, it goes a long way in raising children in self-care. We got to be flexible because sometimes things do not go according to plan, especially when you have a new baby. And the more children you add to that, to your family, the more flexible you're going to have to be. But I think
Mhm.
what I'm hearing you to say is, when I have to I reschedule me. And
Mhm.
that I love that, because
Mhm.
sometimes, we're good about rescheduling everybody else, but we don't reschedule ourselves.
Right.
So
Right.
I thought that was just really wonderful when you said,
Yeah.
I reschedule me. And you also
Mhm.
mentioned something called mom guilt.
Mhm.
Talk to us about
Mhm.
mom guilt. How have you
Whew.
experienced mom guilt?
I have, and that is what kept me for the first, I'd say, about 7 to 8 months. It kept me from doing anything for myself, and I wanted to be, um, super mom, and I wanted to be everything, everywhere, 100% of the time. And I
Hmm.
quickly found out during that time that that does nobody any good, no matter how much I want to be. So that means, in order for me to be a better person, there has to be some sacrifice in asking for help, because I
Hmm.
had an issue with that initially. I didn't want to ask for help, but realizing that, okay, I need help, and during that time I'm getting help, making sure that I'm nurturing myself so that when I come back, I'm better for all parties involved.
Right,
Um,
right,
and
right.
and
Asking
I
for
and
help,
what.
and there's nothing wrong with We all need help.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's one of the things that new moms sometimes struggle with. We struggle with
Mhm.
getting help. I remember when I first had children, of course, I can still remember that. Uh, but I remember when I brought Jonathan home from the hospital. And I tell this story quite often when I'm talking about self care. So, John, we were new parents. And I was, like I said, I was 34 years
Mhm.
old when I had Jonathan. And so I'm a new mom, and we had been married 4 years. And I remember I was, trying to do everything by the book, as
Mhm.
whatever that means. And so I was trying to do, we were trying to we were sterilizing the bottles, and we were doing all of the stuff that you do to make sure that everybody's healthy, and everything is done with the utmost care for the baby.
Mhm.
And I was wearing myself out. I mean, I
Mhm.
was wearing
Mhm.
myself out trying to do it all. And so one day I sat up in the bed, and Bishop, and I just kind of sat up in the bed, and he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was just started crying, and I was
Mhm.
weeping, and I was like, "I need more help." And he was like, "Well, what do you need me to do?" And then I was like, "Well, why do I need to tell you what I need to do?"
Right.
Because I was expecting
Right.
him to read my mind, right? And
Right. Uh-huh.
so finally, I told him I need more help with the baby. I felt like I was wearing myself out, and the baby
Mhm.
was getting me up at night. I wasn't getting enough sleep, and I felt like he wasn't helping enough. And he finally just said, "Well, tell me what you need me to do." And then I told him, "Well, if you can help me make the bottles, then listen to this." So I had the way I made the bottles, right? This was
Mhm.
after, because I nursed Jonathan for about 6 weeks. And
Uh-huh.
then we started on the bottles. And so, with the formula. And so I said, um, the instructions say you put the water in, then you put the formula in, then you get
Mhm.
a fork, and you stir it so the clumps and all
Mhm.
that stuff. And so I go in the kitchen one morning and Bishop is shaking the bottles rather than stirring the bottles.
Stirring.
And then I go, that's not the way we do it.
Uh-huh.
You got to shake the bottles. I mean, you got to stir the bottles. And he's shaking it. And then he turns around, he looks at me, he said, look, either you want help with the bottles or you don't want help with the bottles. Now, I could either do it my way or you could do it your way. And then I was like, I think I better let you do it your way.
Yeah.
And guess what? He shook the bottles. When I made the bottles, I stirred the bottles. I let him do it his way. And ain't nothing wrong with that child. He's 23 years old, done graduated college and married now. See, ain't nothing wrong with it. But the thing is, it worked out just fine. But the issue is we have to let them do it their way, right?
Yep.
And when we want help, we cannot micromanage the help.
Yes, that's the hardest part. Yep.
So yeah. So that mom guilt, part of what will help us get over mom guilt is the fact that we can get help, and I'm glad to know that we can get help. Listen, you're doing your thing. So I see you on social media working out, and you got Ali, and you working out with Ali, and so talk to me. How have you integrated Wally into your fitness routine?
So I had to become creative. When I had Ali, it was at the start of Juwan was a basketball coach. So it was the start of the basketball season. And basketball season for us is always a very time consuming because he spends a lot of time at the gym, more time, during the season, off season. So my mom, my grandmother came to help me for a while, but then after that, it was me for a while until Juwan got home, and he was getting home, kind of late, later in the evening. So I figured that I had to do something. I had to figure out how to multitask, and I like I have a notebook that says "Mom is the master of multitasking." But I had to learn how to multitask because if not, then I'll be sitting around waiting, and I wouldn't really be able to get much done. So I had to. I looked it up, of course. Found some stuff on Pinterest. I looked up some stuff on YouTube, how to work out with the baby. Because the other thing was, okay, well, I'll just work out. People say sleep when the baby sleeps. And then, you have all right, well, what if I need to do this while the baby's, I need to clean this. Okay, I need to work out while the baby, I need to meal prep while the baby sleeps. So I had to figure out how to do it while he was awake because I had too many other things to do, whether it's sleep, while the baby sleeps.
Yeah, so, right.
So I had to figure out how it worked. So I had both a carrier that snapped, and then I had the wrap. So I used a wrap when he was younger, and I just did just simple movements, of course, because my body was still healing. So I didn't jump right back into my really rigorous fitness routine. But I started off with body weight movements, exercises, things like squats, things like lunges. Even if I will do tummy time when I'm doing tummy time with him, because the baby's supposed to do tummy time, every day. So while he's on his tummy, I'm on my tummy doing push-ups and playing with him. So just kind of find really creative ways to still sneak stuff in. During the commercial, I'll pick him up and do, like I said, do squats or do maybe some curls with them, or leg lifts and things like that. So I had to get really creative. And then the reason why I try to reach moms as far as the social media platform and working out with Ali is because one, it allows me to spend more time with Ali because while we were going to work while we were working, I was spending 8, 9, even 10 hours a day away from him. So I didn't want to. It was hard for me to break away even more. So that was one reason why I decided to incorporate him in my workout routine.
Wow.
And two, it demonstrates good habits to him because he's 1.5, 18 months, whatever right now. But even now, like he'll pick up my 2.5 pound weight, and he knows how to squat. Like he'll do squats, or he'll try to lift it above his head. And he thinks it's fun. He thinks it's a game, and it he sees smiles, he sees happy, he sees positive when he sees those things.
Wow.
And even though he's only 1.5, he's still picking up, learning. He's still a sponge, and he is a sponge, soaking up everything that mom and dad is doing, or the people around him are doing. So it demonstrates those good habits to him, and it teaches him that this is something that is and can be fun. It's not necessarily a punishment, because that's what a lot of kids think of physical activity as a punishment.
Wow.
So
new moms, or moms in general, we don't have to sacrifice exercising and fitness because we have children. Because, I hear that a lot. With these babies, when these babies grow up, I'm going to go to the gym. When these babies grow up, I'm going to go walk. Well, why not go for a walk with them? Why not?
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about what I'm watching you do, to see you when you had the rap. I would watch you when you had him, and you were just doing simple body movements, nothing that would put the baby in danger or harm.
Right.
And so so again, can you just tell us what are some fitness routines that moms can do with the baby?
We have things like, of course, the body weight exercises, and then with the baby in the carrier or the wrap, and then you have things like the resistance bands, the arm bands, and the leg bands that are really easy or simple to do. And those things can be done anywhere. They're easy to do around babies, and then like Ali likes to play with them. He thinks they're part of his toy. So again, it's while he's walking around or run in the living room, and I'm doing my curls with my resistance bands, he has the other band playing with it, and I say, okay, now let's switch. So I make it a game with them, so it takes away from the I guess what people feel like, oh, I have to exercise. It makes it fun. It makes it a game.
Wow.
And then my other favorite tool is my jogger. I love it so much, my Bob. It allows me, because I was running prior to Ali, and while I was pregnant with Ali, actually I did.
I remember
3 marathons. And I initially I couldn't run, but I could walk, so I would take him in the stroller, cover him up, walk around the apartment complex, or go to a trail and walk. And even in the midst of the walk, I would walk a mile, and then, all right, let me stop. Let me do 10 squats while I'm here, or 10 push-ups, and then, all right, let me stand back up and keep pushing the stroller. So that, like I said, I had to come up with creative ways to
Wow. So you would walk a mile, and then you would stop and do 10 squats, and then you walk another mile and stop and do 10 push-ups. Okay, I see.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so different things. And I have plenty of things on Pinterest, on YouTube, 5-minute workouts, 10-minute workouts, but just incorporating that cardio, which is walking or running if your child is old enough. Because I know for the Bob, the child had to be over 15 pounds in order to, but if the baby is smaller than that, then the stroller would work out fine. Okay. And then just incorporating those body weights or armbands, because they have pockets on the jogger. So if you want to stop and use your leg band for 30 seconds, then you can do so, and then you keep on pushing, and you run for 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna walk for a minute, and then I'll run for another 30 seconds. And so it's just about being intentional about doing it, and being creative and incorporating different things. They even have stroller workouts that you can do, while pushing the stroller.
Stroller workouts. Wow.
Wow. They have all kinds of things.
So there's no excuse.
None at all.
No excuse.
It's not no real excuse as to why we can't be physically active even with new babies.
Wow, we can be physically active even with new babies. And of course, we always tell people when you're exercising or whatever to make sure that you don't, to check with your doctor to make sure you don't have anything. We don't want anyone harming themselves or anything like that. But just the encouragement to know that we can, and I'm watching you do it. And I mean, you are doing it, girl. You are. I told you we got to get together and do a workout together. Okay.
Yes,
we have to. So, I mean, I'm so appreciative, Nafeesha, for you sharing your wisdom, your knowledge. How can the podcast listeners find you? Let us know how we can find you, how new moms can find you, how mothers can find you, or just in general, how we can look you up as it relates to fitness and wellness, and just follow the work that you're doing.
Well, right now I have my Instagram page. It is the health dealer underscore underscore. And
The
again, that's
health
uh-huh.
dealer, the
Uh-huh.
THE health
Uh-huh.
dealer underscore
Yep.
underscore. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's my Instagram. And then on my Facebook, I haven't made a business page for my Facebook yet, but I am looking to do it. But I post my content on my personal page, which is Nafeesha Frost-Bailey. So those are the
Nafeesha,
two.
and Nafeesha is spelled
Mm-hmm.
Nafeesha.
Yep.
Frost,
Uh-huh.
Frost
Uh-huh.
Bailey. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have your name on the flyer and the podcast and all of that. They can find it there as well in your information. But I do want you to hear, I want them to hear you, and I
Yep.
wanted them to be able to follow you on social media. As I'm following you, I want my listeners to be able to follow you. And I just appreciate what you're doing, and I just look forward to more babies, more Bailey babies coming. Ooh, yeah.
Yes,
And I
yes.
just really believe that I believe this I want to say business slash ministry of yours is really
Yes.
going to grow. I believe that what you're
Thank you.
doing is needed, which is why I
Mm-hmm.
wanted you on this podcast and to be able to share. But I see growth, and I see so much potential for you to continue to do what you're doing and to reach more moms with this message that I can't work out with a baby. A baby
Mm-mm.
is no excuse for
Mm-mm.
me to. It doesn't have to be an excuse for me to not care for myself. I can be healthy. I can be whole and be a mom. I can practice
Absolutely.
self-care and be a
Mm-hmm.
mother. I can
Mm-hmm.
overcome self-care guilt, mom
Mm-hmm.
guilt, and all the other
Mm-hmm.
guilt,
Yep.
and to know that I'm worth it. You're worth it as a
Yep.
mother. You're worth it. I said it earlier in our podcast series for this month that self-care should not be a treat for Mother's Day. Self-care should be every day for
That's
mothers.
right. That's right.
Self-care should be every day for
Every
mothers
day.
because you know what? We hold up the world.
Mm-hmm.
Moms,
Sure
we
do.
hold up the world. I mean, we're doing it for everybody. We're
Yep.
taking care of everybody in our world and in other people's worlds. And so we might as well take care of ourselves because we are
That's right.
a vital part of our world. Do you have one
That's
last
right.
thing you want to share with our listeners before we go?
Actually, I do. I just want to really, really hone in on the fact that because like I stated before, I felt mom guilt and I want to be everything, everywhere, 100% of the time. And what I had to experience it that, okay, let me pull away for just a little while, take care of myself. And then when I found that when I came back, I was a much happier person. I was a much more patient wife and a much more patient mom and all of the above. So once I experienced, it was hard for me to pull away. My mom had, okay, Nafeesha, let's go, just go. I got it, just go. So once I pulled away and then I came back, I realized it was such a big difference in
Mm-hmm.
the person that I was being to myself, to my baby, and to my husband, and just the person in general. Just it was a huge difference, and you have to
Yes.
experience it.
Yeah.
Even though I felt bad, really really bad for pulling away, and it's really hard to pull away, and because it's really hard, I felt like it wasn't supposed to happen. But that's not the case. It is supposed to happen. Anything worth having, you have to sacrifice for. So make that sacrifice, spend that time, plan it out, take care of yourself, and you would appreciate it. Your baby will appreciate it. Your husband, your spouse will appreciate it. Your family appreciate it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I want
Wow.
to thank you so much for having me, thinking enough of me to have me share my expertise and my experiences with you and your listeners. I really, really, truly appreciate it.
Well, good. I'm looking forward to great things coming out of you. More great things. Already great things are coming out of you, Nafeesha. And I'm
Yes.
looking forward to more greater things coming out of you and Jawan because I know
Yes.
he's also into fitness. And I know that we
Mhm.
talked about some things and dreams that you all have in your premarital counseling. And I'm just looking
Mhm.
forward to seeing the work that you're doing, not just for yourselves, but for the community. You all are very community minded couple. And I appreciate the fact that you're pouring into our children. Both of you teaching in the Richmond County school system
Mhm.
there, living in Augusta, Georgia, and the
Mhm.
work that you're doing. So I'm looking forward to seeing greater things come out of the Baileys. Thank you, Nafeesha. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I am so delighted about bringing the Harmonize Your Life podcast to you. Would you do me a favor? If you are enjoying this podcast, would you email me at hello@drtonialvarado.com? I want to hear from you. I want your feedback. I want to know if there are any other topics that you are interested in as it relates to wellness, self-care, nutrition, or just overall bringing harmony into your life. Email me, contact me at hello@drtonialvarado.com.